All right. Head right time, baby. Let me get my drag of mine. Head right. Okay. We are going to reconvene on an event, a most difficult thing to discuss, considering this event in our history. And welcome y'all as we go ahead and we discuss this and try to make sense of it. Right. And, and I think that's what a lot of people are trying to do. People are going to weigh in on this. And, there's a lot of well-meaning conversation. Regardless of what side you're on, I think that there's well-meaning conversation that has no redeeming value. I think there's well-meaning conversation that does. I think there's people who deceive themselves into thinking that they're well-meaning, while at the same time they have an agenda, and deceive themselves or try to convince themselves that either they don't have an agenda or they're justified. The ends justify the means and all that kind of stuff. People who will accuse others of politicizing this when they're the worst offenders of it. But let's kind of stick with, for the moment, let's just, stick with, people are trying to contribute to the conversation because we do want a redeeming outcome of this. And there's only one, and let me just say right from the start, there's only one true redeemer of this. But the problem is that people keep rejecting the redeemer. And we think that we have our own way of how we're going to solve this. And it doesn't work. And that's why the word says there's a man that, there's a way that seems right to a man, but his way leads to death. And that's just what we keep getting. Or even people who decide that they're going to even look at scriptures and just go ahead and make up their own interpretations of it. It's like you can't do that either. That's why the Lord says, hey, don't take my name in vain. Don't be doing these things and invoking my name when you're doing it. These are my instructions. Matter of fact, I am the instructions and you guys aren't calling on me. Or you're calling on some, idol that you call Jesus or something like that, but you're not really implementing me. And that's what it takes, y'all. It takes the fortification, the shalom of the Lord, and unfortunately, this is something that's just not put into play. Like I said, we're going to be trying to bring sense to the situation, and who really has the answers. I know who does, and even well, I hope you guys can bear with me as we address this. Because I'm just going to be doing my, my right-wing ramblings on this as far as it goes. But, you're welcome to join in on my thought process. And I hope that you guys will contribute too. Off the top of my head, concerns that I have about this is, those who are going to get defensive about the Second Amendment, and then those who are going to get mealy about it, right? Both sides, both responses bother me. Those who are going to get defensive about the Second Amendment, make all the justifications of what it's like, dude, your sentiment is going towards your gun rights. Take a break. And this has been going on for a long time. It's like usually when something like this happens, the first thing people start doing is start defending their gun rights. It's like that's where their heart goes. That's where their mind goes. That's where their sentiment goes. Hey, somebody lost their life, okay? All right, can we take a moment to reflect on that? It doesn't look good for you to start just going defending your gun rights. And that's the thing that you want to, wrap your arms around to protect. And then on the other hand, you got people who start getting mealy about the Second Amendment, start getting soft, start thinking, oh, well, maybe we need, maybe tougher gun laws, and maybe we do need to, certain guns shouldn't be made available to people and stuff like that. You get people start getting, they start losing the iron in their spine, right? So both solutions, they're one extreme to another. Walk that, if you want the solution, walk that narrow path instead of going to the left or to the right. Walk that narrow path and ask the Lord, say, hey, what do we do about this? Ask the one who says, hey, it's better for you to buy to sell your cloak and buy a sword. It's better for you to be naked than unarmed. Okay? But he's also that same Lord who says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. And have compassion and understand, hey, man, the bottom, I thought, you want these weapons for what? to protect life, and somebody loses their life, and I'm not seeing the heartache for life. I see the defense, the rush to defend your right to your guns. Those things that I thought we were supposed to have to protect our life and our liberty and our property. I'm not really, I really don't see much of that, to tell you the truth. I just see the affinity for the guns. I see the guns as an idol. But honestly, I really don't see much of what the guns are protecting. I don't. Y'all keep saying, come and take it. Look how much of the country has been taken away from you. And what you doing with your guns? What, you go down to the firing range, unload a few rounds, say, all right, I did my patriotic duty. But other than that, the country's basically been taken from us. You know? So, I mean, you know, the people be talking about, you know, well, we need the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment protects the First Amendment. The Second Amendment protects us. Really? How? Where were your guns when, I guess, Trump got kicked off of Twitter? Where were your guns when you got cancel culture is just running amok? How long have I been telling you? It's not about the Second Amendment protecting the First. The First Amendment is being used to erode the Second. How long have I been telling y'all that? But no, I guess you can't hear me because, you know, you got your earmuffs on while you're at the gun range firing off your guns. You don't hear that stuff. But you want everything that's just told you how glorious guns are. Okay. They don't really seem to be put to much use. And I'm not saying that we need to go out there and go on a shooting spree, you know, but I'm just saying there are certain things that your guns are going to be useless against. I'm not saying that guns are not useful. I'm not saying at all that that there needs to be more gun laws. Hell no, I ain't saying that at all. But I'm trying to tell you, it's like you guys put all this in, you invest all this faith in your firearms, and they're not doing anything for you. They're really not doing much in the grand scope of things. They're really not. You point to some instances where they may have prevented some things, but right now, you probably be better off putting your guns to use and going up and holding up a gas station and say, man, fill up my tank, because basically we're being robbed. All right, so I mean, it doesn't make much sense. The responses to this, unfortunately, we've had this shooting, another one. All right, we got shootings going on all the time. Right, and it doesn't mitigate the issue of this latest shooting that happened in Texas. Right, but the outcry for this, you know, when there's shootings going on all the time, people getting killed, losing their lives. Right, you know, multiple. And the response to this is, we need to arm the teachers. Okay, so this is the Republican voter response, or the so-called conservative response. Arm the teachers, really? So it wasn't bad enough that you're sending your children to them. You send your children to the godless. You send them to an environment of the godless. Kids that are cruel to each other. But you know, we're suckered into the so-called justification. Well, you know, kids need to learn how to be social. Really? You teach them how to be social by sending them into an environment of the godless. And somehow you think that this prepares them. Oh, what you mean? What, grooms them? you basically setting your kid up to be groomed. And this doesn't prepare them for the real world, y'all. It makes them a product of the harsh real world. And you don't know which one of your kids is going to be the one that's going to snap. You don't know. But you sent them there. You sent them there with that gamble. So you sent them to these godless teachers. And then you want to arm these godless. You've already armed them with a bunch of money. You've already armed them with the weapons being your kids. Right? Each one of those kids, for these past 40 years, each one of them kids is a bullet in the chamber for the Democrat Party. Because they run the school system, right? And they've been using them kids to be the bullets at the ballot as they go in and vote them more power. But you want to arm the teachers. Okay. Yeah. So these are, how long have I been saying? Republicans give Democrats everything that they need. Everything that they need. You know, so, you know, you have these teachers teaching this victim narrative. It's not all of them. I got friends who are teachers that I'm so grateful who are teachers, because we need these godly people in there. But they're up against a legion of the godless, you know, who are teaching kids to get triggered. and some will even pull the trigger, right? So, and it's just really sad that, these are the solutions that people talk about. Arming the teachers as if the teachers hadn't been given enough to be facilitated, fortified, to screw up this country. Yeah, it's not a good idea. So now, and what comes to mind also is, speaking of these schools, what's up with police officers? Yeah. Not going in. I understand. Hey, I'm not a professional law enforcement officer. It's not my job. But yeah, and even admit, it's like, no, it was a wrong move. I bet you if Kyle Rittenhouse was in there, he would have ran in there. Mm-hmm. Right? Kyle Rittenhouse would have ran in. Right? But, here's the thing, y'all. And maybe this, and don't get me wrong, y'all, because I'm, obviously the police are doing a lot, to ward off a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff gets prevented. Things could be a heck of a lot worse, I'm pretty sure. But the thing is, they are getting worse. All right. And, maybe it's because, the police are losing their morale and it's been going on for a long time, y'all. And we've been worrying about this for a long time. One, there's too much idolization of the police. And there's too much idolization of the military. OK, especially when it comes from the right. And the right and the left are exactly the same in this. You got the right that idolizes the police and the military, and you got the left that idolizes the state or the government, the statists, if you will, the politicians. Y'all, it's all government. Okay? The police is still government. The military is still government. But you've decided that, okay, government is the problem, not the answer, but not the military and the police. Those are the good guys, right? Well, what, like the FBI, right? So just because they I guess, okay, I got it. Since they're there it is. How could I miss it? How could I flip and miss it? The military and the police are the good guys because they're the ones who carry the guns. That thing that you have so much affection for. The politicians don't carry the guns. So the left idolizes them. And the politicians are the ones who have the power to infringe upon our gun rights. But the police and the military, they get to carry the guns, so you like them. You like the bang bang shooty guys. Okay, I see how it is now. Right? So, but here's the thing. When it comes time to take your guns, because hey, it's being proven that even when they come to take your guns, you ain't gonna do nothing. Are you? I mean, really? Look at how much the Democrats have effectively taken. They've taken education. They've taken over the media. They're taking your money. They've long been taking your money, right? They take kids from the womb. They're taking kids' identity, right? They're just taking. And what do? Nothing. So what? Are you going to do something when they come for your guns? And who you think they're going to send to get your guns? Them police that you idolize so much, right? I mean, they may not even have to. Right? The culture is being engineered to wither your grip, your cold dead hands. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. You keep beating your chest and saying that. For my cold dead hands, and come and take it. Man, it's just proven over there. They just keep taking. Just keep taking. They don't really see any evidence that you're going to do anything when they come for your guns. Right? So, I'm just saying, for all that boasting that's done in the Second Amendment and your firearms, what are the firearms really stopping? And I'm not saying that at all to besmirch or say anything negative towards the Second Amendment, not at all. Proponent of the Second Amendment and your right to bear arms. But I'm just saying, what's the practical use of them? When you look at what's being taken from us, I think that's you boast more. See, the problem is you got people out there boasting in the Constitution and boasting in it more than they boast in the Lord. And that's your problem. Right? Your guns need to be loaded up with the gospel. It ain't. That's the problem. You're not getting out there and really defending this country with the practical use of the scriptures. Like, but I guess you're waiting for some event to protect the country with your guns. It's not supposed to get to that. I mean, you know, things decay, man. It's just the way it is in the natural world. Things decay, but you know, but we're supposed to. There's other means to be able to ward this off, and they're not being put to use. So you know, it's just not practical, y'all. And I've been saying this for years, but you know, and you got the police out there. You know, they're not, you know, like they didn't know what to do. You know, they're just in the dark, man. That's kind of. But see, here's the thing, y'all. Here's what you need to understand. Maybe, like I said, maybe the police feels like, you know, they got this lack of morale. Anything that they do, there's all this political pressure on them. You know, no matter what they do, it's going to be wrong. Well, see, I don't mean to sound mean when I say this, but police, this is what you get. I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to say it in one word. Unions. Okay, now, what does that mean? There's a reason, y'all, why police are considered the Ku Klux Klan. You being in the unions ties you to the Democrat Party. And you are a revenue collecting arm for the Democrat Party. You are a revenue collecting arm for the very faction that is using you, set you up to be destroyed and setting you up to be, they're basically using you as suicide bombers. Police, you in those unions. Now, when you got people out there talking about defund the police, conservatives should have been out there saying, you're absolutely right. Let's start with them police unions. The Republicans ain't gonna do that. See, the police, being that they're in them unions, that ties you to the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party who use the police who were in the KKK. See, y'all never fixed that. You never fixed it. So you got Democrats out there who are in the KKK, terrorizing people, using the police to do it. And police go ahead and get into the unions, which is a revenue collecting arm for the Democrat Party. The police are pawns for Democrats. And you got conservatives out, well, the police are really conservative. Really? And you guys don't think that you mind molested and brainwashed by the Democrat Party? You don't think that you tools for the Democrat Party too? Oh, the Democrat Party, they can brainwash and manipulate everybody else. Blacks, Jews, women, Hispanics, and everything, but they can't get you. And you're out there thinking that the police are the conservatives want to defend the blue line and back the badge and all that sort of stuff while they're out there collecting money for the Democrat Party. So it's no surprise that, you know, the police are more and more, y'all, you might find that the police are not effective. All right. And they're going to be effective when they're mobilized against you to take your guns. All right. So, you know, I think of like other responses, you know, to this situation. Like say, for instance, whether it be Lee Greenwood's response or even the parent of the shooter. You know, you see a woman. Well, one, she's obviously very distraught, so she's not going to make, you know, much sense. But there are that doesn't change the fact that the boy's upbringing was going to be very toxic. You know, this is why the Word of God says, do not provoke your children to wrath. Raise them up in the instruction of the Lord, which the boy wasn't. Okay, and obviously he was provoked to wrath. Whether he was provoked to carry out his own wrath or provoked to be subject to the Lord's wrath that's going to come on him. All right. Either way you look at it, raise your kid up in the instruction of the Lord, which he wasn't. So now this, you know, this mom, and when people think, oh, what can we do going forward? Do that. Oh, we don't need. Okay, well, get ready for another shooting. Okay, well, this is something that's just the world isn't going to agree on, and that's why we're doomed. Okay, that's why the salvation is easy, which we have. We have the salvation. Just people reject it. That's the problem. And some people are going to go all the way to their grave and beyond. You know, where it's going to get real hot. Sticking to their rejection of the truth. This is what it takes to solve this. He is the solution. Unfortunately, people reject that. So we're going to get more of this stuff. You know, but the mom, you know, she says, don't judge him. Well, he's already been basically, you know, judged. The judgment has come upon him. He's, you know, he's dead. In terms of judging, it's not about judging him in the sense of, well, okay, she's trying to say, don't judge. Well, what she's really saying is don't judge me, because it is about her. You know, because in almost, you know, in the same, you know, response, she's like, don't judge me. You know, and this is where that pride and insecurity comes in, right? That's driving this. She's more concerned about her image. And this is a lot of people. See, she's been in deep denial about how damaged her son is. And she's also in deep denial about how damaged she's been. You know, damaged people, a damaged person raising a damaged kid, you know, so she damaged him too. That's not, you know, sitting here speaking harshly or judging, just calling it like it is. You got to be able to address what it is if we're going to, you know, solve it. You can't beat around the bush with it. Not trying to say, oh, you this and you that. And you want me to say, no, you a damaged woman. Okay. You know, I think that pretty much sums it up. You had a damaged kid. Your kid was bullied. Right? And you're going to have liberals out there trying to judge us for liberals take their opportunity to be the biggest bullies out there. You know, in an environment that they're in, you know, that's run by Democrats, biggest bullies, the biggest ones, while trying to accuse somebody else of being a bully. But yeah, this kid was bullied. And you know, and where was he bullied? In, you know, in that environment, you know, that people say that we have to send our kids to. Right? And eventually he just started ditching school. He just dropped out. So, but you know, that wasn't the solution either. It's like you can't run from your damage, right? So he stopped going to school, and you know, still had that damage in him. Wasn't taught anything else. You know, and that's why I say, see, like with conservatives, you know, we don't really represent in the culture. You know, we've allowed Democrats to basically make it to where whatever influence we have is illegal. Yeah. We've allowed Democrats to do that. Where was your guns? Where was your guns? You try to, it's like this person is sexually confused and gender confused and stuff like that. Hey, man, well, let me teach you about it. No, we're not going to have any of that. Biblical, you got some states in biblical counseling. No, you're not doing that. Yeah. Right? Well, guns didn't seem to solve that problem. Right? So, you know, but we don't really represent in the culture. We don't. You know, there's hardly any support for it. Hardly any support. The support goes towards those politicians that y'all always constantly disappointed with all the time, right? We're going to have our political messiah go in there. He's a rock ribbed conservative. He's got a steel spine. He's going to solve things. Okay. They ain't solving anything. It's lazy. It's lazy, really. He's like, you put it on them, you know, and you got money for them. You got time for them. And then they disappoint you. Where was your representation in the culture? Where was your support for it? Hardly any. You know, and usually the bigger support will go towards more foul-mouthed provocateurs. You know, you got time and money for that. People who are just out there just like, just fire-breathing provocateurs, but really not really giving you what you need to have the finesse to promote it in the culture. They're just giving you stuff to make you to add to the gaslighting that makes you look like more of a hostile bigot in the culture. That's what you're getting. You see these responses all the time. So, you know, on the what was that? I heard they were going to have a rally. You know, I'll probably just, you know, tie it up with this. Lee Greenwood. See, this is what I've been talking about, man. You know, when people think, you know, conservatives in the culture, you know, well, I guess Lee Greenwood, because that's what we got. How long I've been saying, man, dude, you got to have more than that. You go to any flipping like Republican event or something like that, and God bless the U.S. No, That's what you see that. And the song itself on its face is just wrong. Right? So, what's the lyrics? I'm proud to be an American. I don't really, I'm spacing on lyrics because I can't stand that song, so I hardly listen to it. But I'm trying to think, and there's a reason why I can't. One, it's just
about Soldiers Day.
Yeah, it's
for me.
Right. The music is just so painfully generic. But let me see. I'm proud to be American, or at least I won't. Okay. All right. So I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. This is idolatry. The song itself is idolatry. When you say that, I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right. Nobody gave you. You already had freedom. The Lord gave you that. The Lord died to make sure you had it forever. That's the Lord's distinction. You're giving it to them. Now, they protect, and they die in the service to protect our rights. That's a distinction that should not be taken away from them. And that's an honor in itself. And I'm very grateful. And I definitely acknowledge that in their protection of liberty. But gave it to us? No. No. So, but you know, when they're going to have this rally, like, what's the response to it? I really don't know what they're responding to. Like, say, off the top of my head, I would say still hold the event. I don't think the performers should have pulled out. The performers should have stayed and say, you know what, we're not going to be performing, but man, let's have a prayer meeting. You know, let's do what we can to see. Let's share. Yeah, I know. It sounds, but hey, right now folks need to understand. They need to know this about you. That, hey man, we're not just here because, we love firearms so much. Because once again, y'all, what is the point of the firearm if you're not really protecting anything? Yeah. What you gonna use? You're gonna use your guns to protect your guns? Oh yeah, they're coming after my guns. Now let me get my guns out. That doesn't make any sense. People need to understand that you are compassionate about life, and they don't see that about you. All right? They see you out there idolizing and fondling your firearms is what they see you doing. And you can't really blame them. And the left is no better. They pay millions of dollars to have movie stars out there flexing with their guns. They're no better. They promote more violence. Way more than the pro-Second Amendment. We don't promote violence. Unfortunately, it's just too much. It's this disproportionate affection for your guns that you're not really putting to use. Because don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you should, in the sense of what I'm saying is they're really not much use in stopping the takeover that's happening. The way that it's being done. And I've tried to tell y'all for a long time, dude, this is how you do it. You're not going to win it like this. But you got too much faith in your firearms that you idolize too much. And the Lord shows over and again that he will have those pillars destroyed. All right? So, you know, when you got these people out there who got this event, you know, it should be shown that there was an outpour of reflection and compassion. Those artists, they should have been there. They should have stayed, maybe not to perform. And I don't know if it was if there was money, the ticket sales. I would think that the proceeds. I'm just saying this off the top of my head. You know, the proceeds should have been taken. It's like, look, man, y'all ain't gonna get a concert today. We're just gonna take we're gonna take these proceeds. Hope y'all are cool with this. I hope, you know, and we're going to put this towards. I would say, you know, at this point, like off the top of my head, I say we're going to put this towards maybe some kind of memorial or some court volunteer funded program or some sort of consolation. That's a bad word to pick, man, but just bear with me. And because I gotta kind of digress on that statement, because maybe a lot of people in their emotion will probably reject it. Said, I don't want your blood money. I don't want your money you keep that to yourself. But what can you do? It's not something you can win. You can't win on this. What you gonna do? It's like, okay, well, we go collecting money. And like I said, I don't know if it's a free concert. I don't know if it comes with their membership or whichever. I mean, but somehow it's funded. To be able to do these things. Say, look, man, but you can't win. Put ourselves in checkmate. Guns didn't help in that. Yeah. So I'm not, once again, y'all, I'm not for any gun grab. I'm not for banning any kind of firearm. I'm not for any sort of intrusion on our Second Amendment right. Not at all. I'm just asking the question. Your faith in your guns. Look what it's costing you. Look what's being taken away from it. And they're not even doing it at gunpoint. They got others that they can send to point their guns at us for them. There's just there's groundwork that is needed to be laid for a long time to keep us from getting to this point. Been saying it for a long time. And the police, you guys, police, you your own worst enemies. You your own worst enemies. You need to make the sacrifice. Get out of the unions. Stop being a revenue generating arm for the Democrat Party. Get out of the unions. Y'all ain't gonna do that. Right? I wish you would. I wish Republicans would be like, okay, yeah, like I said, defund the police. We're going to start with them unions. Mm-hmm. You think they're going to go with that? No. But that's what Republicans need to be saying. That's what they need to be saying. And start making the connection and let people know who's empowering these police and using them as a sacrificial lamb to get out there and do the damage that they're doing. So anyway, y'all. I'll go ahead and wrap it up from there. I'm looking forward to the sagacity. Did I say that right? Of those who chill in the Zoloft, because I know y'all gonna offer some good stuff too. Mm-hmm. We got a prayerfully considerate audience, prayerfully reflective audience in here, and a lot of the rest of the country would do well to check out what y'all had to say too. So and that's what we want to do, y'all. We need the Lord in the situation. The salvation is already there. We saved already. He's given us instruction on how to do this. And unfortunately, just people ignore it. So anyway, y'all, thank you guys so much for hanging out for TZL Unprescripted, and work that share button. I hope I gave something insightful or useful that you guys feel is worth sharing. And drop that buck in the bucket if you want to help keep your brozo on the go and keep these lights on. You know what I'm saying? All right, y'all. Blessings, and we will talk again soon.